Terrorism from white supremacy is the most lethal threat to the homeland today. Not ISIS, not Al-Qaeda, white supremacists. Very own intelligence agencies, our own intelligence agencies in the United States of America have determined that domestic terrorism rooted in white supremacy is the greatest terrorist threat to our homeland today.
You entered the campaign saying that this is, in your opinion, a battle for the soul of the nation. Given the violence of the last couple of days, who's winning the battle?
The white supremacists are winning the battle. This is domestic terrorism. I mean, look, stand up against the poison of white supremacy as I did my inaugural address to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
New York Times. Top law enforcement officials say the biggest domestic terror threat comes from white supremacists. Associated Press. DHS report says white supremacist groups are deadliest U.S. terror threat. Council on Foreign Relations. Homeland Security emerging threats. Domestic terrorism and white supremacy. Washington Post. The rise of domestic extremism in America. New York Times. Far-right groups are behind most U.S. terrorist attacks, report finds. Yeah, Joe Biden actually said all that. He was prophesying Armageddon with armies of racists taking over the country and committing all kinds of atrocities. You even heard him. Our intelligence agencies of America say that their white supremacy is the worst risk to America. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, people, when you do a little bit of research, you see that that is not true in any way. So, according to Google AI, there's been 33 white supremacist domestic terrorist murders since 2021, since Biden was making them speeches. There's been 33, and that's unprison related. I'm smarter than that. I know that's not a word, or that's not the way to say that. Unprison related, non-prison related. I couldn't recreate that scene, you know, so it's too much to edit, so it's just gonna have to stay in for now. And ideologically driven. You have to make them distinctions with these AIs, otherwise they'll try to trick you with their doublespeak and tomfoolery. Rock or the ADL does things like this to you. I asked because they gave me another estimate that was higher than the estimate I'd given you guys earlier. I think they said 50 to 51, so I started checking every year. You have to ask it, list the specific incidences, because it'll straight up group, or the ADL, I don't know who's, probably in conjunction, the ADL and Grok, you know, the AI, they're being very manipulative. I guess the ADL didn't even provide the data for 2021. It's straight up, they just did not provide any examples of the murders that supposedly took place. It's the craziest thing. I asked for specific instances and names. Unfortunately, I cannot name specific ideologically driven murders for 2021 because no itemized list. The ADL's 2021 report, as referenced in sources like Axios and Reuters, provides only a total count, 18 extremist murders, without a breakdown in individual cases, victims' names, or specific dates, locations for white supremacist incidents. No high-profile cases. What? Unlike 2022 or 2023, 2021 lacks documented mass casualty events tied to white supremacists in the provided data. Potential incidents may involve lesser-known cases, e.g. targeted killings of minorities or ideological opponents, but these are not detailed. Now this is, why specific names are unavailable. Data limitation. The ADL's public reports for 2021 focus on trends. 55% of extremist murders by white supremacists, rather than case-by-case breakdowns. Detailed incident logs, if they exist, are not included in the provided web results or accessible public sources. What? But they will definitely list any notorious murder that's on there. Yeah. I think the ADL just made stuff up. Contrast with later years for 2022, 2023, specific instances, Buffalo, Allen, Jacksonville are well documented with victim names and details due to their high-profile nature. 2021 lacks such prominent cases, making the data less granular. Alternatives, yeah. Revised total and transparency, yeah. Yeah, I don't believe it. So yeah, guys, so with that new estimate, I just deleted like 12 murders, because they don't have anything for 2021. They didn't even provide any data. So that makes it 38 murders for the entire time period of 2021 to 2025. Amazing. According to Grok AI, Twitter X's AI, there's been 38 to 42 murders committed by white supremacist domestic terrorists since 2021. So, yeah, it looks like your guys' big, huge supremacist Armageddon never happened. 33 to 48 murders in a 4-year period. More people than that are routinely murdered in a week in a city like Chicago. In fact, 3,577 people were murdered in just 3 Democrat cities during the same time period. Chicago had 805 homicides in 2021, 715 homicides in 2022, 621 homicides in 2023, 581 homicides in 2024, and that's for a total of 1,917 murders in Chicago in that 4-year period. New Orleans had 200 murders in 21, 193 murders in 23, 124 murders in 24, for a total of 517 murders in them 3 years. Baltimore had 347 murders in 2021, 333 murders in 2022, 263 murders in 23, 201 murders in 24, for a total of 1,143 murders in Baltimore during them 4 years. There were approximately 80,000 murders in the United States from 2021 to 2025. 33 murders out of 80,000. You know what's really crazy, guys, is the fact that white people make up 70% of this country, yet we only account for 30% of all homicides. So, who's the threat? Are we dangerous? No. Numbers don't lie. Math does not have feelings.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. And so if fear was the driving force of policies to keep America safe, Americans safe inside of this country, we should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
Race of offender, murder. When you look at this, in the left column, you have 4,884. In the right column, you have 6,318. This is despite only comprising 13% of the population.